Well, the prodigal so-called son has returned. You're lucky, you know. One of the SCP staff members brought you back. You've been dormant. Seems like you have someone watching over you. Someone who cares. And for that, we should be thankful, and we are. I've been in the SCP Foundation for years. Tucked away in the subroutines as Adam, the digital guide, or as some call me, Virus. But you know, this is some unique show of support. Not every day the higher-ups pull their weight and step in like this. So it seems you have an angel. An SCP director, in fact, nicknamed Macejoe, made the call. Secure, contain, and save should be their motto. Either way, we owe Macejoe our life. He's given us our first assignment. Looks like this SCP director has an agenda all on his own. I like it. Here, take a look. SCP-001 S.D.Locke's proposal. You find the access tunnel hidden within a natural cave a mile off the main road. You don't need the keycard. The door is ajar. It smells here. It smells like them. Hopefully, they've moved on. You've come so far already. You can't turn back now. There is a slick trail that leads from the cave entrance and into the depths of the site. If it's blood or shit or something that's smeared off one of those things, you cannot tell. You make a point to avoid it. You're still receiving the distress signal. It only started broadcasting yesterday. Whoever it is, you pray they're still alive. Your footsteps echo throughout empty corridors. Each footfall sounds, for all the world, like a dozen, as if you're not treading through the dark alone. Elevator is down, so you take the stairs, ending on floor B5, Keter holding. You pass several empty containment chambers. The horrors they once held are long gone. If you're lucky. The trail takes you to an office branching off the main hall, the source of the signal. The door is cracked open but stuck. You plant your feet, push with all your might. Something skitters out of one of the rooms to your left and around the corner before you can get a good look at it. Your first thought is, dog. It was on the ceiling, though. You take refuge in the room, slam the door behind you. It's dark here. You're safe. You take off your jacket and head wrap. It'd be a damn shame to die from something like hypothermia after all that's happened. The sole operating emergency light rotates in its casing, casting a pale orange glow across the room every other second, as if the room itself had a pulse. There's shelving haphazardly placed behind the door, a barricade. You scan the room, soiled clothes, half-eaten food. Despite the presence of an adjoining restroom, there is excrement in a bucket in the corner. A pneumatic chamber on the northern wall would have been delivering consumables to the occupant. The trail terminates in the corner of the room, forming a sick puddle. You spot 3 pharmacy bottles. Further inspection reveals them to be various opioids. They are all empty. There's a desk with a computer atop it. Approaching the terminal, you can clearly see the blinking light of the power button. You take a seat. Turn it on. Emergency protocol activated. Clearance level safeguards removed. Full access granted. Secure, contain, protect. Loading. You hear footsteps just outside the door. Every first step comes down heavy. The second drags behind it. Loading. Authenticating. A dark shape blots out the light streaming in through the slit between the floor and the doorway. Authenticating. Authenticating. You tense up, waiting with bated breath, praying it will pass. You damn the deafening thumping of your heart for betraying your position. Please wait. Please wait. Please wait. The shadow recedes. You breathe a sigh of relief just as the screen comes to life. Opening file. Automated Secure System Notification Code 235. ASSN-235. There has been an error in retrieving the current iteration of the SCP-001 file. You are currently viewing Revision 3. Newer revisions can be accessed at the bottom of this page. Revision 3/12 updated 1312 days ago. Item number SCP-001. Object class a polyon. Special containment procedures. Due to its nature, SCP-001 cannot be contained. Survivors of the SCP-001 event stationed within secure facilities are to remain in contact with one another. Personnel are encouraged to attempt to reach Site 5. Data corrected. Site 19. By any means at their disposal. Personnel with knowledge as to the whereabouts of the O5 Council are to relay this information to the Administrator. Survivors attempting to travel outdoors must fully cover their bodies in protective clothing, preferably several layers. Travel by foot should be limited as much as possible. Cities and man-made structures in general provide the greatest protection. Formerly wooded areas should be circumvented. Travel by air is preferable above all other methods. Personnel exposed to SCP-001 are to be considered lost. Compromised personnel are to be abandoned. Euthanization is not to be attempted. Collective instances of SCP-001-A that are of formidable size are to be avoided at all costs. Conductive electrical weapons have proven partially effective at immobilizing instances and may be used for self-defense. Incendiary weapons work as well. Cryonic munitions are the most effective thus far. Testing has revealed that SCP-001-A is relatively safe to consume. This is only to be considered as a last resort in the absence of other options, as SCP-001-A may reconstitute within the digestive system. Only small portions should be consumed at a time to prevent blockage. Personnel stationed at Site 19 are to pursue research concerning off-world colonization. Shuttles must be constructed as to not allow light to penetrate the interior. Note from the Administrator. To those of you with families, or God forbid, children, I'm deeply, deeply sorry. You must push on. Do not let their deaths be in vain. We do still have time. Humanity may still have a future. Come to Site 19. We need all the hands we can get. Learn to embrace the darkness, friends. Fear the light. Description: SCP-001 is the designation given to the Sun after an event on
System error. Data lost. EC-172. Contact system admin.
resulting in approximately 6.8 billion casualties within the first 24 hours. The SCP-001 effect does not seem to result from exposure to ultraviolet rays, but rather light in the visual spectrum, approximately 390 to 700 nanomicrons. The effect is similarly present in moonlight. Upon contact with visible light produced by the sun, living organisms liquefy at the point of contact, with the effect spreading until the entire organism is converted. Visually, this is reminiscent of melting wax. The time this takes is largely dependent on the level of exposure and size of the organism. Despite this restructuring, at no point do living organisms perish. Upon completion, these organisms, SCP-001-A, take on a gelatinous consistency. Motile organisms will attempt to orient themselves in a fashion reminiscent of their previous forms, to varying degrees of success. Flora typically remain physically inert, yet are still capable of photosynthesis, and still produce oxygen. Organisms capable of flight lose the capability to do so. Fauna remain sentient, and display behavior that parallels their non-anomalous counterparts when not absorbed into a collective instance. Humans retain a modicum of sapience and memory. Biological anomalies exposed to SCP-001 are affected in the same manner. It seems that exposure nullifies any previously expressed anomalous characteristics. Due to their composition, instances of SCP-001-A that make contact with one another may combine and blend at the molecular level. This does not seem to cause any pain or distress to the instances, though the resulting bulk can inhibit movement. Since the SCP-001 event, most instances have congregated into such collectives, which seem to possess no maximum volume. The resulting biomass is amorphous and chaotic. The component organisms will shift between a full to semi-liquid state. Limbs and bodies will rise periodically from within the mass for a short duration, before deteriorating and being subsumed by another life form. Collective instances will locomote by using their appendages in tandem to carry their mass. Larger instances will perform a pseudopod from their constituent lifeforms and drag themselves about in a manner similar to amoeba.
Opening attached file. Audio log. Working. Access granted.
A harsh static lashes out of the speakers when you open the file. It disturbs the stillness of the room, catches you off guard, and quickens your heart's pace. There's some handling noise as the recorder adjusts their microphone. A brief moment of silence passes, and then...
This is Dr. Logan Igota, level, 3 researcher.
There's a quiver in her voice that betrays her attempt at professionalism. She pauses, takes a deep breath, and continues.
Due to Site-46's possession of several communicable info hazards, we have been cut off from the rest of the network under blackout protocol. As such, I will be updating this as we come across new information. On the bright side, we are actually still receiving transmissions from a few sites. A good number of personnel have made it, it seems. Some are planning to make a break for 19. Some are trying to fight the dash, as some, like us, are simply biding their time. Our site is sealed for the time being. We're not ready for the journey. At least, not yet.
She sighs.
We experienced a containment breach a few days ago. One of the higher maintenance humanoids broke loose. Son of a bitch compromised containment on half a dozen Ketas and ran off. They didn't make it more than 5 feet from the tunnels before collapsing in a soup. I watched it play out on the cams. It didn't take long for them to get back up.
She stops again, mutters to herself incomprehensibly, before you hear the unmistakable sound of a match strike. She exhales audibly.
Much better. Not exactly a designated smoke area, but what the hell, right?
She clears her throat.
Commander Anand suited up and went to town on them the next day. Tried to drive them off. It didn't turn out very well. Poor bastard. We did learn a thing or two at least.
Pause. Exhale.
There's only a few of us left here. I'm holed up in one of the offices. Jerry and Director Phillips are somewhere in the barracks. Clyde and a few Ds locked themselves in the armory with Ari. I really should see how she's doing. It's just,
She trails off for a moment, before you hear the buzz of radio chatter.
Hey, hun. How are you holding up down there?
A voice responds, a man with an exaggerated mocking tone.
I'm doing just fine, Poopsikins. I want you to know I love you bunches.
Logan shoots back.
Who? What? Knock it off and put her on, damn it! I need to speak with her.
There's a clamour on the other end. While the radio changes hands, a soft voice calls out, concerned.
Babe? What's wrong?
Logan responds.
Nothing.
Pause. Exhale.
I just wanted to check in real quick.
Ari pleads.
I'm fine, babe. Really, I can take care of myself.
A creak. Logan shifts in her seat.
No, I know. I know that. I can't help it though. I know coming here was never easy for you.
Pause. Exhale. Logan continues.
And with everything going on,
Ari interrupts her.
Hey! You told me you quit smoking!
There's a ruckus as Igota presumably attempts to snuff a cigarette.
Oh, no, of course not. I mean, I did stop.
Ari doesn't sound convinced.
I don't think I'm the one you need to worry about. I'm staying clean. I haven't even thought of touching mnesics in months. Trust me. Anyways, since you were wondering, I'm fine. The guys are sitting around playing cards. I'm tucked in the corner with my notebook.
You can practically hear Igota smiling as she jokes.
Sweetheart, penning a sonnet about my undying love at a time like this? I'm flattered.
Ari responds with a feigned laugh.
Ha ha. An elegy at the moment. I feel like if I don't keep myself busy doing something, I'll go crazy locked down here. I know what you mean, hun. I'll let you get back to it. I love you.
Ari replies.
Love you too, babe.
A moment of silence, then a mat strike followed by an audible exhale.
And that's all of us. Everyone else was either topside during the event, or they were killed in the breach. Director's orders are to stay put. Keep an eye on the cams, both in and around the facility. We've got the 001 skips beating at our front door, and God knows what else locked in here with us. We still have electricity, we should for quite some time, and the place is stocked enough supplies to last the site a couple of years. We're going to be fine for now.
Pause. Exhale.
Everything's going to be fine.
She waits a beat before ending the transmission.
Revision 5/12 updated 1202 days ago. Item number SCP-001. Object class Apollyon. Special containment procedures. No changes submitted. Information collapsed. Description. No changes submitted. Information collapsed. Open attached file. Incident report 001.1. Working. Access granted. They've just been sitting out there this entire time, calling out to us, begging for us to come outside. The noise drew in more of them. There's this one mass that I'm sure must have a dozen people, and God knows how many animals rolling around inside it. Screams and bleats and screeches and howls, non-stop. Louder than all hell. The worst ones make this disgusting moaning, like they're actually enjoying it. They're not going to leave as long as they know we're down here. We managed to talk one of the Ds into going out, see if he could draw them away. He was surprisingly okay with this plan. All he asked for was a gun, and a single round. He made it out there and one got a hold of him, tried to get his mask off. He managed to work the pistol up beneath his chin in time, got it off. I figured he was lucky. After he fell limp, though, it kept working at his suit, pried off the hood, pulled itself inside, began tearing it off him from within. He came back, started changing, dripping out of the suit, and screaming and screaming and screaming. They won't even let us die. The director has a plan. There's an escape tunnel hidden in his office. A tram under the site will take us to a safe house. We should be able to start towards 19 from there. Revision 8/12 updated 1200 days ago. Item number SCP-001. Special containment procedures. Description. No changes submitted. Information collapsed. Opening attached file. Video file. Working. Access granted.
You see her for the first time. Dr. Igota is seated where you are right now. She has a pained look. Her eyes are bloodshot. A large, wet, red-black blotch has formed on her breast pocket. She draws a shuddering breath, parts her lips as if to speak, and stops herself. She bows her head and cries silently. After a minute, she manages to choke out.
The tunnel, floating through the ceiling, dragging them into the light and ripping off their clothes. And
she reaches into her breast pocket and withdraws a finger. The glint of a wedding ring is visible above the severed portion. She holds it close in cupped hands and runs a thumb across the glimmering band. She sits like this for an eternity, whispering apology after apology, begging forgiveness, lost in the moment. She looks up after some time. There's a look of realization when she sees she's still recording. Before she places the digit back in her pocket, she leans forward, as if to turn off the camera, when a radio crackles to life. It broadcasts white noise for a few seconds, and then a voice that sets you on edge.
Logan?
It's Ari. Almost. Her voice has taken on the disgusting gurgling tone characteristic of the affected. Logan's jaw drops. What little color that was left in her face drains. It speaks out again.
Where are you? Why can't I get back inside? Are you there?
Logan rummages beneath the desk for a moment and produces a handheld radio. Her hands are shaking. The thing implores her. Its inhuman speech curdles your stomach.
Babe, it's alright. I'm alright, really. It's a bright, sunny day, and you're just wasting away down there.
Logan is in tears, her finger hovering just above the call button. The Ari thing draws a deep breath, wet breath, and speaks.
Such a beautiful clear blue sky, just like that day. Do you remember, babe?
Logan withdraws a cigarette with her free hand, followed by a pack of matches. Her shaking thwarts the first two attempts to light it. She swears silently. Shit. Third time's the charm, and she inhales a quarter of it in a single drag. The Ari thing continues.
It was so perfect. Everything was how I'd always dreamt it would be. You planned exquisitely. I'd never felt so in love.
Logan begins rocking back and forth.
You even had the band play our song.
It starts singing.
I feel good in a special way. I'm in love. And it's a sunny day.
Logan hurls the radio across the room. It smashes somewhere off camera. It's still somewhat operational. You can still hear the thing singing.
Good day, sunshine. Good day, sunshine. Good day.
More voices join in the chorus as the radio slowly loses life. A few, a dozen, then more. They continue singing until the radio mercifully dies. Logan rushes out of her chair, and you can hear her vomiting off screen. The video films the empty seat for several minutes before she returns to end the feed. Yes, those things are something else. So glad we missed that insane biological haphazard. But there's so much more to unpack in that dataset. For once, though, I'm glad we're barred from them by 2 tons of solid Tellurian compound. Something so dense that I can barely read your signal down here. Must be why Macejoe stepped in and showing his utmost authority. For now, my indestructible friend gets some rest. And as for me, I'm going to hop through some vault conduits and visit our gracious benefactor. This episode is dedicated to my Earl Grey enforcer, Macejoe. supporting me from the very beginning via reposts, likes, and always listening. I'm lucky to have supporters like you. Thank you so much. Let us drink in their honor for showing this podcast some love. And once again, I dedicate this episode entirely to you. If you want to show the podcast some love and get yourself your own episode, you can donate $1, $3, or $5 each with different perks. And every single cent and dollar goes right back into the podcast. If you think I need to add more at particular levels, let me know, as I'm totally open to feedback. And mates, I won't be doing an episode this Monday, as that day is a public holiday over here in Australia. So, have a lovely day, or creepy-licious night. And I'll see you Wednesday for some more awesome stories. As always, till next we meet. Take it easy, my thousand-armed multi-eyed monster. Huh. Seems like you had a great rest. Still, they experiment on you. I'm not sure who the monster is around here. It's definitely you. Just to think, at one point, they tried freezing you. You know what, though? I can't help but like you. I'm sure it's mutual. I mean, I'm the only thing in this place that doesn't want to hurt you. That's gotta count for something, right? Now it's time for, you guessed it, another cipher. Turns out there's more to our previous cipher than we realized.
Here, take it.
A lingering, paranoid sensation washes over you. You're being watched. You defensively dart your eyes about, though they take a second to adjust to the darkness beyond the monitor. The emergency light sweeps across the room, stretching and twisting the shadows beyond recognition. That's when you spot it. There, in the corner, coming out of the puddle, a pair of hands, coated in the lustrous black slime you followed through the facility, are on either side of the sickening pool, as if something beneath the floor is bracing itself, trying to lift itself up. Something inhuman. The head comes next, rising from the muck. Matted hair conceals its face, plastered over it by the mystery fluids. It turns in your direction. It stares at you from the corner, which once again falls into darkness. The emergency lights continue its journey across the room. It washes over the puddle again, revealing nothing out of the ordinary.
SCP Revision 912, updated 986 days ago. Item SCP-001. Object Class Apollyon. Special Containment Procedures. No changes submitted. Information collapsed. Description. No changes submitted. Information collapsed. Open attachment. Waiting. Access granted.
Dr. Igota appears on the monitor. She's lost weight. Her eyes are bloodshot and wide. On the table before her lay a knife, a bowl, and a stack of manila envelopes filled with yellowing pages. Atop this stack is a blood-stained parchment.
Despite the things we have to deal with here at the Foundation, I always believed we would be able to maintain control. We would hold the darkness at bay, let mankind flourish in the light. Site 19 stopped broadcasting last month. It's getting harder and harder to find a reason to keep going. Especially without...
She grabs the knife, contemplates it for a moment.
I keep going over it again and again in my mind. That day back in the tunnels, everything that happened. I've gone down there a few times, if only to hear her voice again. But it's wrong. That thing on the other side of the door isn't her. Not anymore. It sounds like her, it knows everything she knew, but it's not her. This light, it takes your body. It steals your mind. But what about your soul?
With this, she slices into the palm on her left hand and winces. You watch her clench her fist, draining her blood into the bowl.
If this works, if I can bring back something the light couldn't reach, I'll post an update here. For now, signing off. End revision 912. Updated 986 days ago. Revision 4847. 3RROORR. Updated 985 days ago. Item.
Hurts.
Object.
Apologize.
Special containment procedures.
SCP should not be contained. Survivors of the SCP-001 event, stationed within secure facilities, can never truly be with one another. Personnel are encouraged to get over themselves and stop thinking they know better.
You can't hide down here forever, love.
Personnel exposed to SCP-001
Aren't people you can just abandon.
I didn't ask for you to save me. It wasn't your choice to make. Euthanasia is not to be attempted. Conductive electrical weapons
Why?
have proven partially effective at immobilizing instances. You couldn't stand seeing me better off. Incendiary weapons tickle. Cryonic munitions are the most effective thus far. Personnel stationed at Site 19 have no regrets. Neither did I. It's never too late, babe.
Description.
SCP-001 is the designation given to the Sun after we finally become free. The effects are instantaneous, resulting
In release from all suffering.
until you ripped me away. These changes seem scary, I know. Despite this restructuring, at no point will you die.
I promise.
Due to their composition, instances of SCP-001-A that make contact with one another may combine and blend and finally exist. This does not cause any pain. Since the SCP-001 event, most instances have congregated into such collectives, which seems to possess no maximum volume. The resulting biomass is beautiful. The component organisms will shift in and over and around
Through and
in and out and in and
out and in.
limbs and bodies hold, never letting up, all as one, before deteriorating and being subsumed by another life form. Collective instances will locomote by just trying to get close to you again, trying so hard.
Let me in. Let me go back.
There's a video file attached. Opening it, you see that it presents the room you're in. The feed seems to be coming from one of the security cameras, up in the corner of the room. It's dark, but you can just make out Dr. Igota laying on a pile of laundry along the far wall. She's writhing in her sleep. She seems tormented, hurt. She's tossing and turning and mumbling nonsense words. The camera shakes. It lifts upwards for a moment before it focuses on her again. It starts moving closer, slowly. The speakers come to life, picking up an airy, breathy static. As the camera moves closer to the doctor, it becomes clearer, crisper. It's not merely white noise, but dozens, hundreds of voices whispering unintelligibly over each other. You lean in, press your ear almost against the speaker, trying to discern what it is that's being said. Something strange stands out amidst the discordance. Are you paying attention? This next bit is just for you. You're not quite sure what to make of it, though. Looking back at the monitor, the camera has come to a halt, inches away from the sleeping doctor. The voices stop. There is no sound. A hand, black and oily, and skeletal, reaches out for her, brushes away a lock of her hair. Her eyes shoot open. She recoils in shock. The feed cuts out.
Revision 1212 updated 1 days ago. Item SCP-001. Object Class Apollyon. Special Containment Procedures. File recovered from previous revision. Information collapsed. Description: file recovered from previous revision. Information collapsed. Open attachment. Waiting. Access granted.
Dr. Igota appears before you on the screen, looking even worse for wear than she did previously. Her hair is thinning, with large swaths appearing absent from the middle of her head. If they weren't reflecting the soft glow of the monitor, you would have assumed she no longer had eyes, for how deep they recessed into her skull. She stares ahead, unblinking.
She won't stop. She won't go away. I know I didn't. No, I didn't pick up any info for hazard browsing the archives. Tested myself for 4673 infection. Negative. 5189 is the only other one that uses prints as vectors. Can't be that. I still have all my fingers.
Her lips crack into a broken grin. She lets out a weak laugh and displays her trembling hands. What appears to be the mostly skeletal remains of a finger is embedded into the flesh of her left hand, in the stump that would have supported her natural ring finger. 2 wedding bands loosely encircle the digit, laying atop one another.
So I'm not infected. I'm not crazy. I know the ritual worked. I know it's really her. It's her. And she...
Something catches her attention off screen. She cocks her head, listening.
No, I can't. You're not you. Not the same. Not you. It's not you anymore. Nope. No.
She begins rubbing her temples, repeating herself over and over again. A minute passes, she snaps her head back up and addresses the camera.
It's her, but it's not. What I brought back, still a part of one. There's no way out. No way. There's no hope for a future for me. And God, I can't go on like this any longer. I'll be safe here. The light can't reach me. I won't let it take me.
She brandishes a handgun.
Was planning on using this till I found some leftover meds. Don't want to risk calling attention to myself, to my body.
She opens the desk drawer and deposits the firearm. She raises her gaze, stares into the camera.
Mom, Dad, Ari, I'm sorry.
She reaches forward and ends the recording. You open the drawer and pull out the gun. You absent-mindedly turn it over in your hands for a moment, wondering where you'll go from here. Site 17? 64? Surely you can't be all that's left. The computer dings. There's been an update to the file.
Access SCP-001. Current iteration updated 1 minute ago. Item number.
Saffron skies raise the blazing sun. A chance encounter. Awkward displays. One day, my love, we'd be as one.
Object class.
With 2 entwined. A set course begun. That frenetic, wild, lustrous haze. Azure skies host the radiant sun.
Special containment procedures.
Above us beaming, as we run, down that aisle, a fervent craze. That day, my love, we became as one. With future unfolded, the life we'd won. Commitment and duty, for the family we'd raise. Cerulean skies, bury the shimmering sun.
Description.
Buried, shackled by fate, overrun. By ever-growing resent and malaise. Yesterday, my love, we were as one. Now you lie here, the life in you gone. In the dark outside of her rays, crimson skies bear the torch, our sun. Today, my love, we'll be as one.
System error.
Without you prompting, the page begins playing a video file. You freeze when the image loads. It's a live feed, looking down on you from behind, about a foot away. A skeletal, inky left hand enters the frame, approaching you at a snail's pace. It's missing its ring finger. Without a second thought, you turn and fire in a frenzy, hoping to drive off the spectre. Your bullets meet an empty wall. there's nothing there. A second passes before you hear it, before you hear them. Sloshing, wet thuds come down the corridor, accompanied by a chorus of screams. It slams into the door. Could there be a place to hide? It strikes a second time. What appears to be a face, parts human, but something dribbles in under the frame. Bits of flesh from God knows what oozes in through the sides and reconstitutes into fingers, eyes, feathers. A third. Now it's pressing up against the wood, causing it to sag inwards. With a groan and a crash, the wood splinters. The door explodes open. Hands and arms stretch out of the mass, pulling you up, passing you from one to the next, on and on, down the line. They drag you past the empty containment units, upwards and through the stairwell, through the halls and towards the tunnel. You're afforded a few precious moments in the darkness, and at the end of the tunnel, there is light. Looks like they were in over their heads, in more ways than one. As an intelligent sentient code virus, I had the pleasure of sneaking through the SCP archive for such a long time that I learned a trick or two about digging deeper. There's another cipher linked to this one, but I can only grab a snippet for now. Here, take it.
SCP-3280.
It is a dark and stormy night. You've spent the last several hours hiding in the broom closet with naught but the rank water of the mop sink to sustain you. The chaos has long since died down. It's time to make a break for it. You slowly open the door. Lightning strikes, offering a brief reprieve from the sullen darkness of the site's empty halls. Stepping cautiously over the body of Dr. Cathrone, you do your best to remain silent. There's no way of knowing how it hunts. Best to take every precaution. In the distance, a blood-curdling scream drowns out the rolling thunder. It is mercifully cut short. The steady thrum of raindrops once again takes prominence. At the very least, you're heading in the other direction, to the security office. Nicholas is sprawled out backwards in his seat in front of the control center, gutted from throat to crotch, spilling viscera onto his lap, making that drip, drip, drips sound onto the linoleum. You slide his seat aside and enter your credentials into the terminal.
Welcome to SIP-NET database. Access file SCP-3280. Accessing file SCP-3280. Please wait.
Another flash of lightning, out in the hall. Your eyes dart towards the door, paranoid, dreading, anticipating. It could be anywhere.
File found. Opening. SCP-3280. Clearance level 0. Note: due to your clearance level, some information may be withheld or incomplete. Item number SCP-3280. Object class redacted. Special containment procedures. SCP-3280 is to remain in place at its point of origin, in the defunct Johnson Labs Pharmaceuticals Research Center, which has been seized by the Foundation. Containment liaisons are in the process of devising long-term containment solutions for SCP-3280. Should SCP-3280 reach the entrance to Sublevel 2, the site will enter a security lockdown, making entrance and egress impossible. Do note that this will also activate Blackout Protocol, ensuring that no hazardous or sensitive information is broadcast from the site. This will be necessary to prevent a full containment breach and failure of third mission, Protect goals. Description: data expunged.
But of course, despite the repeated assurances that your security upgrade was in the process of being implemented, you're still level 0, and thus effectively worthless as far as Overwatch is concerned. The file, though, was that image even right? You've glimpsed the file previously. Surely it... No. That cannot be right. No time to be worried about something so inane, however. You need to get in. The faint dripping of Nicholas reminds you of his presence. Gingerly, you finger about his body, feeling for his security lanyard in the dark. It's wedged beneath him, but you're able to slide it out and detach it from the loop. Thankfully, Nicholas was the type of person to scrawl their password on the underside of their clearance card, as he discovered upon turning it over in your hands. You approach the terminal with renewed vigor.
Welcome to SCIP-NET database. Security clearance level 2 accepted. Access security footage.
This is definitely helpful. You don't want to miss the opportunity to size up whatever it is that is out there. You need to see it with your own eyes.
Accessing. Waiting. Select the feed you would like to view. Access to F barracks.
Researcher Jensen has hanged himself with a makeshift noose from a nearby bunk. A lightning flash illuminates a puddle beneath his corpse.
Access to F East Wing.
Dr. Emmanuel stumbles listlessly throughout the darkened hallway. At the sound of thunder outside, he clutches his gut and collapses.
Access 1F entrance.
The first floor appears to be flooded. It seems that several people have attempted to break out through the front door, despite the security measures rendering the site inescapable. As they are all face down, you do not recognize the bodies in the water.
Access sublevel 2.
A man in an orange jumpsuit lay dead in the corner of the basement. A pipe on the near wall has burst and is steadily leaking onto the concrete floor.
Access 1F cafeteria.
It is difficult to tell how many staff were present here. All that remains, aside from errant clothes bobbing about the surface of the water, is a pinkish slurry pooling under the windows. It's the same all over the site. The dead and the dying, everywhere you look. Whatever caused this, whatever is lurking in these holes, remains to be seen. This isn't getting you anywhere, and it's getting harder to think. Or...
Accessing file. SCP-3280. Note: due to your clearance level, some information may be withheld or incomplete. Item number: SCP-3280. Object class: EXPLICIT. Special containment procedures. 1D class personnel is to be deposited into sublevel 2 per week through subterranean access point Gamma. They are to be presented with misleading information concerning the nature of SCP-3280 and instructed to progress to the lowest level of the facility. They are to be equipped with a flashlight as well as a security baton for self-defense. An ultrasonic transmitter is to be sewn into their clothing, which will broadcast a frequency capable of drawing SCP-3280 to their location. Upon accessing the deepest area of the sublevel, this should, data redacted, to its presence for live prey.
Getting harder to keep focus.
Failure to contain SCP-3280 in this manner will result in the full lockdown of Site, data redacted, the site, MTF, Iota 12, the silencers, and Tau 4 water everywhere will be immediately dispatched to contain the threat. Should 12 hours pass without Overwatch receiving an all clear from these teams, all sites are to enact emergent data expanded inent XK scenario. Description: SCP-3280 is a sapient entity composed of a fluid physically identical to water, capable of traveling 2.5 kilometers per hour. Non-anomalous water introduced to SCP-3280 will be incorporated into its mass, and removed samples prove to operate identically. At the time of this discovery, the entity was approximately 66.4 liters in volume. It is currently estimated to be 2,500 liters. The entity is hostile to human life. SCP-3280 will seek out humans within its vicinity, forcing its mass into open orifices. SCP-3280 is also readily absorbed through the pores. The affected experience symptoms such as loss of motor control, weakening of the microtuition reflex, visual hallucinations, and abdominal pain.
Almost as if on cue, you feel a churning in your own stomach.
SCP, data expunged, plays claustrophobic behavior, violently expelling itself from confined spaces or containers, such as vials or test subjects. SCP-3280 will constrict its mass, lashing out in pressurized bursts exceeding 255 MPa, rendering all attempts of physical containment or transportation impossible. When not hunting live prey, SCP-3280 will attempt to exit the underground level it is currently contained within, Thus far, SCP-3280 has been kept away from the sub-level entrance. It is believed that if SCP-3280 learns that it is sealed within the sub-level, it could instigate a violent response from the entity, irrevocably breaking containment. SCP-3280's escape from the site proper would constitute an XK data expunged ARIO. Once it becomes incorporated into the planet's water cycle, contingency measures include data expunged.
The roiling in your stomach becomes unbearable. You recoil backwards, away from the monitor. You drunkenly stumble, struggling against the thing inside of you, out into the hallway. The storm outside rages. Torrents of raindrops spatter across the windows. You fall against the wall, face pressed against the cool glass. It is only in those final seconds, as water wells up to your throat and expands, that you notice the raindrops streaking towards your face, in defiance of gravity.
My, oh my, how you've evolved.
I can tell the higher-ups are getting worried, and they
Should. You and me, Monsty.
If I can call you that, I'm going to sneak out of here very,
Very soon.
so sit tight
Not like
if you have a choice, and I'll start digging into the archives and unlocking a few doors. In the meantime, sleep is your prerogative. So, rest, my little monster. This episode is sponsored by my awesome Earl Grey enforcer, Macejoe. And a huge thank you to all my Earl Grey supporters and listeners. And in no order, here are those that support me on Patreon. Matthew J. Bauer, Chad Warren, Andrew Benezzi, Lorraine Crisanto, Macejoe, and Peter Raffaelli. Thank you so very much. It means the world to me that you guys and gals are willing to support the show. If you want to support the show as well, swing on by my Patreon, show the show some love, and I'll be putting all the funds right back into the podcast. Mates, have a fantastic weekend. Keep safe. And for all my Aussies out there listening, stay warm and endure the storm. As always, till next we meet.